Welcome back to Chronicle. This morning, we're talking about Nebraska's new Vietnam Veterans Memorial in Papillion. As part of a ceremony honoring veterans, all 400 names of the Nebraskans on the memorial were read aloud.
John K. Hobson, Gary B. Hodgson, Johnny R. Holland,
Donald G. Lewis, Larry J. Lyles, Henry L. Limbach.
In the crowd were families of fallen heroes listening to hear their loved one's name. Now, that was part of the official opening of the Nebraska Vietnam War Memorial, and Chronicle's Sean McKinnon shares more from that ceremony on June 6th.
At the twilights.
A memorial to never forget. The names of the 400 Nebraskans who lost their lives in Vietnam are forever enshrined in Papillion. For the more than 1,000 people who showed up for the opening ceremony, it's a moment decades in the making.
After 55 years, you know, and you see this, it's kind of a heart stopper a little bit.
Don Davenport and Tom Reinhardt were part of the team that flew this exact Huey helicopter in Vietnam. They saw plenty of action when they went to rescue fellow soldiers.
And those guys rely on us, and that's what we want to do, is go get them if they need us, and we did.
Nebraska is the last state in America to have a memorial solely dedicated to Vietnam. Many say well worth the wait.
They always say that, and last but not least, but this has got to be the best.
I've seen a lot of memorials around the country, and this is the most outstanding, beautiful one that I've seen. It rivals a lot of the ones in Washington.
A Vietnam veteran named Bert sustained a traumatic brain injury in Vietnam when he was 20 years old. He's a memorial donor and came in from Norfolk to see it for himself.
You've lived through all of that and more because you're a tough guy. You're a Marine, right?
While the memorial will help bring inner peace, it's also a reminder of the pain.
It's emotional. I mean, how does a mother lose 3 of her 4 children and survive that?
And so for a long time, I must say, even on my own personal relationship with my brother, he just didn't want to talk about it for many, many years.
Oh, Sean McKinnon reporting there. And joining me now in studio is Ron Elwell. He's Executive Director of the Nebraska Vietnam Veterans Memorial and a veteran himself. Ron, thanks for being here today. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having us, Rob.
Hey, congratulations on an amazing grand opening of the memorial. Your thoughts on that day?
Huge, emotional. You know, I mean, it almost put me to tears seeing those guys and the families react to being honored. It was just a terrific event to give back to so many that had given to us.
Yeah, so who was in the crowd? I mean, there were thousands of people there. I mean,
yeah, there is thousands of people there. There was a lot of big names, but most importantly, there was families from some of the killed in actions from the Vietnam War. So they finally got to feel some solace being able to hear their loved one's name and be able to see it and touch it and see pictures of them. So there was quite a few of them, and a lot of their kids who they never got to meet their father who was killed prior to. So there was quite a few of them. And then, of course, Vietnam veterans. I don't know, it seemed like almost every Vietnam veteran in the state was there, in my opinion, but there is, you know, a good portion of them all had come out, and it was great to give them that opportunity to be welcomed home.
Right. So tell me, where did the idea for the memorial come from?
George and Tom would probably tell a story different than me, but I always laugh and I say, what happens when you get 4 veterans sitting around drinking a beer? They come up with really good ideas.
Sure.
And that's kind of what happened. There was Dennis, Tom, and George, and Howard Ball, of course, he's no longer with us, but they were sitting around and they realized that there was not a dedicated Nebraska Vietnam memorial. So they said, hey, we need to make that happen. And by God, they did. And they did it fast and furious. So somewhere in 2017, that's what happens when you get a bunch of Marines and Navy vets sitting around drinking beers. They're going to have good ideas.
Right. Now you said it was 2017, and you say fast and furious. That's 7 years. That's not exactly fast. I mean, it may have been furious at times.
Yeah.
Talk about some of the obstacles. It's been a minute.
COVID, definitely.
Sure.
COVID was the biggest holdup, and that's kind of where I came onto the project, was mid-COVID. But that was the biggest hanging up, just raising the money and getting the funds to be able to start construction and get going on that. So that took the longest. And then the Vermont, where the floods happened, and the granite got buried underwater, so we had to wait for that to come about. So there was just these little things that built up, and meantime, we were still doing presentations and stuff and talking to folks and getting, donors lined up and stuff. But there was just little things with COVID, the supply chain, not as fast as it could have been because there was less trucks on the road.
Right.
So.
I mean, it took a minute too, as far as getting money. I mean, you had to go to the Nebraska legislature.
We did.
What kind of challenge was that?
That was a very big challenge, but we had Senator McDonald was on our side, so he was presenting the bill. Tom and Lisa Jorgensen went down there and spoke, and the legislator agreed, like, hey, we should pass this bill. And of course, at the time, there was some political things happening down in Lincoln that had to get solved before that bill would get passed, but eventually they did pass it, and we were able to get that grant.
It was like $2.5 million.
$2.5 million, yep.
So they got you across the finish line.
Yep, that put us across the finish line.
Any surprises, any pleasant surprises? I mean, Papillion stepping up and saying, hey, you can have this land.
Yeah, that was awesome. Mayor Black has been terrific. His passion for the project is huge. The whole city of Papillion, all the city administration has been great. Bellevue University stepping up, allowing us to use their employees, their time to do different parts of the project has been, I can't thank Mary Hawkins enough and Lisa Jorgensen for everything they've done. A lot of the fun surprises were just cutting dirt and getting to meet the superintendent, Rob Carter from Hawkins. He was a funny guy. We actually have become good friends. And David Langenberg, and it was a very serious project. They took it very serious, but we made good friends and we had some good times working on the site. And
Iowa Western, I mean, them stepping up with the Huey.
Yeah, Iowa Western, the kids from Iowa Western, so their aviation maintenance program, Dylan Driscoll leads that. Great human being. Dylan basically, when I got involved, he said, yeah, you can use my students. They'll, use their own spare time. So we had volunteer students that, us veterans that had aircraft experience, they would come work with us. And it was amazing. They, me and you were talking earlier about stitching up the tail boom. I left it for them. I got it started, and me and another guy, and I said, here you guys go, make it happen. And Dylan sent me a picture, and I'm like, wow, those kids really did a great job. So it was a good testament to the quality instruction that those aviation maintainers are getting.
And so you mentioned, you're a veteran.
I am.
And you're a war veteran. Where and when?
So I was in Afghanistan, Iraq multiple times. I did 22 years, retired out March 4th of 2020. Right when COVID started, worst time to get out of the military.
Sure.
But yeah, I did. I was in Afghanistan 2013, 14, Iraq 2016, 2017. I was in Bosnia actually in September of 2001. I was there 4 days before 9/11 happened, and then that changed everything. So.
Wow. So you're not a Vietnam veteran.
I am not.
Why is this memorial important to you?
There's a couple of reasons. First, my dad's a Vietnam veteran, so growing up, obviously I grew up here, and he was at Offutt, just like most people who grew up here, and he's a Vietnam veteran. But most importantly is when I came into the military, that was probably the end of Vietnam veterans. So I started here in the Nebraska National Guard, had quite a few of them. And these guys, their stories, I grew up reading their stories and, not really understanding when I was young their welcome home. And as I got to know these guys through my own military career and, of course, and further, it was like, man, you guys did some incredibly heroic things, and you should be recognized for it. And because of what they did, I felt my career, I was standing on, I say this all the time, I was standing on the shoulders of giants.
Right.
And I think they need to be recognized. And of course, as I got older and realized how they got home, my homecomings were awesome. I think Mick Wagner says it best, they were throwing beers at us and they were spitting on these guys. So now I feel it's our generation's responsibility to right that wrong and make sure they know how welcome they are, and that the fact without them, we wouldn't have been able to do what we do today.
It is an amazing spot. And just real quickly, I heard talk of possibly an educational center. Yes, no?
Yes, that's in the works. So don't know how quickly we're going to jump on that one, finishing, but that's in the future plans, looking forward. So that will eventually come to fruition, I hope. Okay. So, and I think it'll be a great place to be able to educate our future generations.
Yeah. Ron, it is an amazing spot now. So
yeah, thank
I appreciate all the work you've done, and thank you for your service too.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Absolutely. Well, the night after the dedication, a storm actually moved through the area. And take a look at this. This is a photo that was taken then. And Ron, you were there. This is from Eric Kaysen Photography. Eric, who works for Papillion Public Works, tells me the conditions were not ideal. It was actually raining and very windy. That's an understatement, of course. But he knew it would be a great shot. Still happened to get lucky to get that shot. All right, earlier we told you about those QR codes at the memorial. Still ahead, we're going to show you how they're made and how they work. First, what are your thoughts about the new Nebraska Vietnam Veterans Memorial? You got any stories or memories you want to share? Email us. It's news@ketv.com. Read all of them, and we'll be right back.